Welcome back. Please like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Good morning. Today, we are looking at a major financial move by Alphabet, the parent company of Google. The company has officially announced a bond sale worth $15 billion.
That is a significant amount of money, Alex. This move is specifically designed to support Alphabet's massive investments in artificial intelligence. It follows a recent report showing that the company plans to spend up to $185 billion by the year 2026.
To our listeners, a bond sale is essentially a way for a company to borrow money from investors. Why is Alphabet choosing to borrow such a large sum right now?
It is a strategic decision. By selling bonds now, Alphabet can secure long-term capital at stable interest rates. This allows them to keep their current cash ready for daily operations, while still building the infrastructure needed for the future.
And that infrastructure is quite specialized, isn't it? The report mentions next-generation data centers and advanced cooling systems for their servers.
Exactly. AI models require an incredible amount of computing power. This power generates a lot of heat, so they need advanced liquid-cooled server racks to keep everything running smoothly. This technology will eventually improve the AI features we use every day in Google Search and Workspace.
It sounds like a high-stakes race. Analysts say this will help Alphabet stay competitive against other giants like Microsoft and Amazon.
Definitely. In the current tech world, the company with the most computing power usually wins. This $15 billion investment shows that Alphabet is very serious about maintaining its leadership in the AI era.
It is a bold move that reflects strong investor confidence in the company's direction. Thank you for that clear analysis, Jamie.
You're very welcome, Alex.
Good morning. Today we are looking at a new initiative from the White House regarding the future of artificial intelligence and national energy.
That is right, Alex. The Trump administration has started talks with major technology firms and utility providers. They are proposing a voluntary pact to manage the heavy energy demands of AI data centers.
It is a significant issue. As AI technology grows, these data centers require a massive amount of electricity. There are concerns that this could strain regional power grids and lead to higher electricity prices for American families.
To prevent this, the proposed agreement encourages companies like Microsoft, Meta, and Google to invest in their own on-site power generation. This includes using modular nuclear reactors and advanced battery storage.
The plan also addresses environmental needs. It asks companies to improve water recycling for their cooling systems, which is especially important in regions prone to drought.
President Trump has emphasized that the goal is to protect consumers from rising utility bills. He wants the United States to remain the global leader in AI innovation, but without the need for heavy federal regulations.
So, by fostering a collaborative framework, the administration hopes to build an intelligence infrastructure that is economically sustainable and independent of the public grid.
Exactly. For their part, tech leaders are expressing cautious optimism. They see the pact as a way to secure the reliable power they need while demonstrating responsibility toward national energy security.
It is a steady step towards balancing technological growth with the needs of the public. Thank you for joining us for this update.
Thank you. We will continue to follow this story.
Good morning. Today we are looking at a significant development in the global financial markets, specifically in Japan.
That is right, Alex. The Nikkei 225, which is Japan's main stock market index, rose by nearly 4% in a single day. This is a very strong reaction to the weekend's general election.
The Liberal Democratic Party, led by Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi, won a commanding victory. Investors seem to be very pleased with this political stability.
They certainly are. The market sees this as a green light for Takaichi-nomics. This is a policy focused on two main things: government spending and keeping interest rates low.
Because of this victory, many believe the Bank of Japan will not raise interest rates suddenly. This creates a very favorable environment for big manufacturers and the technology sector.
Prime Minister Takaichi has also promised to support the semiconductor and green energy industries with government subsidies. This has made global investors much more confident about buying Japanese stocks.
It is interesting to see how this affects the rest of the world. Here in the United States, President Trump and his administration are watching these developments closely as the positive mood in Tokyo is spreading to American and European markets.
It seems that as geopolitical tensions in other regions begin to calm down, investors are feeling more comfortable taking risks again.
It is a clear sign of confidence in Japan's economic future under this stable administration.
Thank you for that analysis, Alex. It will be interesting to see how these policies develop in the coming months.
Indeed. Thank you for joining us for this market update. We will see you next time. Good morning. Today, we are discussing a significant meeting in London that could change how we use digital money. Representatives from the United States and the United Kingdom have come together to align their financial rules.
That is correct, Alex. This group is called the Transatlantic Task Force for Markets of the Future. It was established by President Trump during his state visit to the UK last autumn. The goal is to strengthen the financial connection between these two global hubs.
The main focus of this meeting was harmonization. In simple terms, they want to create the same rules for both countries. They are calling this the Atlantic Standard.
Exactly. This standard will focus on digital assets and tokenized securities. By having one set of rules, financial technology companies can operate in both the US and the UK more easily. It reduces the stress of following different laws in different countries.
It seems they are also looking at new technology, like artificial intelligence.
Yes. The discussion included how AI can be used in trading. They also talked about moving to a T+0 system. This means that when you buy or sell a stock, the transaction is finished instantly, rather than waiting for several days.
Why is this partnership happening now?
It is a strategic move. Both nations want to protect their positions as world leaders in finance. They are facing more competition from new financial centers in Asia and the Middle East. By working together, the US and UK stay ahead.
When can we expect to see the final plan?
The task force will deliver its official recommendations by the summer of 2026. These rules will likely define financial cooperation for the next 10 years.
A very steady and clear path forward for both nations. Thank you for that analysis, Jamie.
You are very welcome, Alex.
Hello and welcome. Today we are discussing a major shift in United States environmental policy.
That is right, Alex. The Trump administration has officially repealed the 2009 endangerment finding. This is a very significant move for the country.
For our listeners, could you explain why this specific rule was so important?
Certainly. In 2009, the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, determined that greenhouse gases were a threat to public health. This finding was the legal foundation for the government to regulate carbon emissions from cars and power plants.
And now, EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin has announced that this finding is gone. He argued that the old decision was based on flawed modeling.
Exactly. The administration believes that these rules were too strict and hurt American energy production. President Trump described the repeal as the largest act of deregulation in history.
The president believes this will lower energy costs and make American industries more competitive. However, what does this mean for climate change efforts?
It means the federal government is no longer legally required to limit emissions. This marks a definitive end to the era of the Paris Agreement and the Clean Power Plan.
Of course, not everyone agrees with this change.
No, they do not. Several environmental groups and state attorneys general have already announced plans to fight this in court. They argue that the science behind the 2009 finding is still valid.
So we can expect a long legal battle over the power of the government and the reality of climate science.
Yes, this is just the beginning of a high-stakes legal challenge.
Thank you, Jamie, for that clear explanation. We will continue to follow this story as it develops.
You are welcome, Alex.
Good morning. Today, we are looking at a high-level meeting in Washington. Lawmakers are questioning the heads of U.S. immigration agencies about a program called Operation Restoration.
That is right, Alex. Todd Lyons from ICE and Rodney Scott from the Border Patrol appeared before a committee today. This follows the deaths of 2 protesters during recent enforcement actions in Minneapolis.
There is a lot of debate about how these federal agents are working. Specifically, why are they allowed to wear masks and hide their identification badges?
The Department of Homeland Security says this is necessary. They want to protect officers from being identified or harassed online. However, many critics say this practice makes it impossible to hold officers accountable for their actions.
The committee seems very divided. What are the two sides saying?
Democratic members are calling these operations lawless. They point to reports of agents arresting people without warrants and using too much force. On the other hand, Republican supporters say these officers are working in a very dangerous environment. They believe the agencies need flexibility to carry out President Trump's orders to secure the country.
This debate is happening at a very sensitive time, isn't it?
Yes, there is a deadline this Friday to fund the Department of Homeland Security. Some lawmakers are threatening a government shutdown unless the administration agrees to stricter rules and better oversight.
It is a difficult situation with a lot at stake. Thank you for that report, Jamie.
You're welcome, Alex. We will keep a close watch on the negotiations this week.
Good morning, everyone. Today we are looking at new data regarding the government's immigration policies.
That's right, Alex. Recent polls from Ipsos and the Pew Research Center show a clear shift in how Americans feel about President Trump's enforcement tactics.
The numbers are quite striking. According to the data, 62% of people now believe that current deportation methods have gone too far. This is a 4% increase since only last month.
It is a significant change. What is especially interesting is the response from religious voters. Many Catholic and Protestant leaders are now calling for compassion. They're specifically asking the government to stop enforcement actions near sensitive areas like churches and schools.
It seems there is a balance that the public is looking for. Most people still support strong border security and the deportation of people with criminal records. However, they are becoming less comfortable with the detention of long-term residents who have no criminal history.
Exactly. Experts also point to the visual style of these operations in major cities. When people see masked agents and armored vehicles in their neighborhoods, it creates a feeling of militarization. This is making many suburban voters feel very uneasy.
This creates a difficult situation for the administration. As we move toward the 2026 elections, politicians from both parties will have to address these concerns.
It is a complex issue. While many agree with the goal of security, the actual methods being used are now under heavy debate.
Thank you for that analysis, Jamie. We will continue to watch how these opinions develop.
Thank you, Alex.
Good morning. Today, we are looking at a new development in U.S. healthcare. The Trump administration has officially launched a digital platform called Trump RX.
Hello, Alex. This is a significant move. The goal of Trump RX is to provide all Americans with much lower prices on essential prescription drugs.
Many people struggle with the high cost of medicine. How does this new platform actually lower those prices?
It changes how the system works. Usually, there are middlemen who handle the deals between pharmacies and drug makers. These middlemen often increase the price. Now, the federal government is negotiating directly with the manufacturers.
So, by removing the middlemen, they can offer better deals.
Exactly. The administration says this can reduce out-of-pocket costs by as much as 40%. This includes very common medications, such as insulin, asthma inhalers, and heart medicine.
That would be a major relief for many families. President Trump described this as a victory for the forgotten man and woman. He believes market competition is the best way to fix healthcare.
Yes, and the platform includes a helpful tool for transparency. Users can compare prices between their local pharmacies and the Trump RX mail order service to find the cheapest option.
What has the reaction been so far?
It is mixed, but mostly hopeful. Some drug companies worry about their profits. However, many health experts are optimistic. They believe easier access to medicine will help senior citizens and low-income families stay healthy.
Are there any concerns from critics?
Some critics argue that while this helps with daily medicine, it doesn't solve the high cost of developing new specialized drugs.
It is certainly a story we will continue to follow. Thank you for the explanation, Jamie.
You are very welcome.
Hello and welcome. Today, we bring you a remarkable story from the world of science that changes how we view the history of life.
Hello, Alex. It is indeed a major discovery. Researchers have found evidence of genes that are older than any life form we previously knew about.
To understand this, we need to talk about LUCA. That stands for the Last Universal Common Ancestor. For a long time, scientists thought LUCA was the starting point for all living things on Earth.
Correct. But a new study from MIT and Oberlin College shows that some genes actually existed before LUCA. They call these universal paralogs.
This discovery is groundbreaking. It suggests that the very first cells were much more complex than we imagined. Even before life split into different groups, these cells already had advanced tools to build proteins and move molecules.
The researchers used powerful computers to reverse evolve these genetic sequences. This process allowed them to reconstruct ancient proteins. It is like finding a hidden chapter in the book of biology.
It shows that the basic blueprints for life were established incredibly early in Earth's history. These findings don't just help us understand our own planet, though.
That is a great point. This research is also very helpful for astrobiologists. If life on other planets develops in a similar way, we now have a better toolkit to look for when searching for signs of life in space.
It seems the building blocks of complex life might be a universal feature of chemistry.
A truly fascinating look into our deepest past. Thank you for joining us for this discussion.
Thank you, Jamie, and thank you to our listeners. Until next time, stay curious.
Good morning. Today we look at a major scientific breakthrough regarding Earth's most precious resource, water. Researchers have found a new way to track how water moves across the globe in real time.
It is a fascinating study, Alex. Scientists at the University of Tokyo are using stable isotopes to follow water molecules. Think of these isotopes as a natural GPS, or a unique fingerprint for every drop of water.
How does this fingerprinting help us understand the weather?
Well, as water moves from the ocean to the sky and then to the land, its chemical signature changes in predictable ways. By tracking these changes, scientists can now see exactly where moisture begins and where it will eventually fall as rain.
This seems very important for safety and planning. If we know where the water is going, can we predict disasters better?
Exactly. This method is being used with 8 different global climate models. It allows experts to predict extreme weather, such as flash floods and long droughts, with much higher precision.
Beyond the weather, there is also a mention of water management between different regions. Could you explain that?
Certainly. Many countries argue over water rights for farming. This technology can prove exactly where rainfall in a specific area came from. This data provides a clear, scientific tool for solving disputes over shared water resources.
In a time of rising temperatures, having a detailed map of our water is essential for national security and economic stability.
It truly is. This new data helps us adapt to a changing climate by giving us the most accurate picture of the water cycle we have ever had.
Thank you for that clear analysis, Jamie. It is a significant step forward for global science.
You are very welcome, Alex.